putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. Are you curious of what the polling is going to be on this FISA drop and what Donald Trump is doing? Because let me tell you, the polls right now have shifted dramatically. I saw a poll that had, does Trump have the right agenda for the country? And it was like 43% said no, 51% said yes. And this was like, I don't know, a couple months ago. Now it's flipped. 53% say yes, 41% say no. Now, I don't know how 41% of the people can look at what Trump does and say he doesn't have the right, stuff. He's not moving the economy in the right direction. But, whatever. Whatever's clever. The stock market dropped 600 points the other day. And you could almost see the exuberance on the face of what's his name, Shepard Smith on Fox. I was just saw a clip, and because he was talking about this FISA stuff, and they showed me the clip, and he was pointing to it, exuberant, like, look at this, ha ha ha. And I'm thinking, okay, so the stock market's still gone up tremendously. Yeah, it backed off. They call it a correction. It's not even a full correction because it's still way up. But people are mocking it. And what was funny, analysts were saying, I watched this later on Fox Business, and they were saying it's the strangest thing because all the indicators are that this should be not happening, and it's okay. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's happening in the market right now. I haven't looked, but my suspicion is it'll slowly go back up. If you don't panic, it's going to go back up. Just sit it out. All the indicators are there. But anyway, back to the regular polls. The polling is, so we're flipping on, is the economy going in the right direction? I've already told you guys, black people, Trump has double the support of black folks that he had from before his election. And we talked about the poll after his State of the Union. So now that you've got this new FISA drop and we're seeing what's happening, and as I said earlier, the intellectuals on the left, the people who have, there was a guy, he's a hardcore anti-Trumper, leftist, who said, if this stuff is to be believed, and I'm beginning to believe it because I don't think they're going to be able to refute it, this is one of the worst things I've seen in this government. If you don't think there's another layer, there's a layer of those people out there, they have become the most dangerous people on the planet to the Democrats. See, those are the people who are smart enough to get it. And they've been ideologically trained to just believe all things Democrat. They hate Trump. He is the evil, the Antichrist, blah, blah, blah. And suddenly they find out this man has been telling the truth. Have you had a situation like that in your life? Where you believe somebody, you're like, oh no, that's so and so. He's right as rain, man. And then you find out that person is a duplicitous liar. I had a PR person like that. Thought she had my back, really believed in her. She convinced me that she was a Christian. She was all these good things. She's the biggest snake in the conservative movement. You see her on TV. She still comes off with the, oh, everything is good and oh, it's terrible. She's the biggest snake out there. I'm not going to say her name, but she is. And it was a shock to me. It was a blow. Like, are you serious? This person is this way? That's what the Democrats are going through right now. They're looking at icons. Barack Obama did this? Hillary Clinton participated in this? And on and on. James Comey, these are people they told me I could count on. And they can't. So now they have to question everything, their entire core. Donald Trump has been telling the truth. When he made the statement in the White that they're spying on me, he was telling the truth. And I didn't believe him. I was anti-Trump. I was never Trump. I was all these things. All these knuckleheads like Bill Kristol and Jonah Goldberg and others, Stephen Hayes, hated Trump. He's a liar, blah, blah, blah. Republican establishment hated him. You want to know what's happening right now? The thing that probably is overlooked more than anything is the unification of the Republican Party. I talked about it in the stats when they did the polling after the State of the Union, 97% of Republicans love the speech. And I don't know what Obama's were, but I don't think he had anything close to that. And I wouldn't even believe those polls. These are not Trump-related polls, folks. That was a CBS poll. 97% of Republicans stuck with Trump. Look at what's happening in Congress right now. You're getting guys leaving because they've been outed for one reason or another. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but these people are being outed. They're going to be replaced with pro-Trump people. You have Manchin. You guys know who I'm talking about, Manchin? He's a Democrat who now wants to pretend that he's for President Trump. We'll get to that in a little bit because I want to play the clip of Vice President Pence calling Manchin out. He's a senator that's playing the game. Hey, I'm for Trump. You watch how many people start becoming for Trump. You watch the number of Holly weirdos that start becoming for Trump. You look at the number of Democrats who suddenly are going to start seeing the light, voting on things for Trump. As October, November approaches, you're going to start to see this. It's amazing. I want to go back to these tweets, though. James Woods, when Hillary Clinton screeched that if that effing fatherless child wins, we all hang from nooses, I assumed it was a hangover rant. Now I'm wondering who will build the gallows. That's what James Woods, actor, put out. A guy called The Persistence, his name is Scott Pressler, he tweeted this. The Democrats don't want foreign countries meddling in our elections, right? So why are they okay with a former British intelligence officer putting together an unverified Russian dossier and then planning a story in Yahoo to get a FISA warrant? Good point, Persistence. Sean Davis said this, it's been disturbing to see the number of journalists who have zero problem being fed false information by House Intel Democrats so long as those falsehoods promote the right political narrative. He didn't mean about right in terms of conservative. And he's exactly right. Journalists and journalism died at the time of Obama. It died. They wouldn't look into this guy. While he was committing all kinds of malfeasance and fraud, they said nothing. Anyway, Pam, who's a friend of mine, Pam Bestetter, she says, can you imagine how Obama feels right now learning all of this was going on without his knowledge? He's a victim in this, just like Trump. I'm sure his faith in the FBI chief, Comey, and DOJ folks has been shaken to the core as he now knows exactly how they acted without his authority. If you know Pam, she's the queen of snark. That was funny. It cracked me up. Touche, Pam. Red Nation Rising said this. The memo has only whet my appetite to discover the depth and breadth of the deep state corruption. Now I can hardly wait to see I.G. Horowitz's report. So, that Red Nation Rising, which, by the way, does a lot with my radio show, has a good point there. I'm anxious to see what happens afterwards as well. This is what one person tweeted I thought was very profound, and I know you've probably thought about this yourselves. Remember when Obama said Donald Trump will not be president? He says, I thought when he made that statement, he knew something only a very small group of people knew. Obama and Clinton are the masterminds behind all of this and deserve to be tried for treason. See, I'm of that mindset. Going back to Pam's snarky comment that says, Obama must be shocked. It's funny to me that Obama hasn't tweeted a thing about this. Obama hasn't tweeted since January 15th when he honored Martin Luther King Day and reminded America of how racist it was. He hasn't said a word. You would think the former president of the United States, whose legacy is at stake, whose people were involved in this, would come on and say, if these allegations are true, I'm really saddened by what's going on with the DOJ. Or, hey, how about we wait and get to all the evidence and see the other side of this thing before? He has said nothing. That should tell you a lot. I looked at his tweets. I wanted to know. Prior to that, he tweeted on December 27th. That was the last time he tweeted up until January 15th when he tweeted about MLK, and that's it. Hillary Clinton hasn't tweeted a thing about this. Their silence, folks, is deafening. These people are trying to figure out what are we going to do if they're looking at every angle. I would love to see the meetings going on with these clowns.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.